Hi, my name's Martha. If we haven't met, I have a story to tell you today about little Martha and her dreams of growing up and becoming a business owner. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, what business I wanted to create, but I was always looking for opportunities. It started fairly young when I would sit on my staircase and not allow anyone to go up unless they bought something from me. I mean, you gotta admit, I was pretty cute. Fast forward many years, after I'd given birth to our fourth child, I had been binge watching soap making and I had no idea what the process actually entailed. One day, I heard that it was literally just oils and lye, and I thought, why can't I do that? I could totally do that. And so I got the materials, I did the research, and I put together my first batch of soap. Initially, I thought I could just do it as Christmas gifts. Famous last words. Well, here is my first batch of soap that I ever made, and little did I know how much I would fall in love with the science as well as the art of making cold process soap. And it's now been 3 full years of business. So this is the story of my dreams coming true through a lot of hard work. A lot of batches going awry, a lot of me not knowing what the heck I was doing and pretending like I knew everything. Because if anybody asks you what your learning style is, of course you have to answer the hard way. It's not an auditory learner, it's not a visual learner. I learn best the hard way. This batch, my first volcano was here, right here. This is the before. You don't want to see the after. Since my journey really started with the birth of my child, I kind of used her as a gauge to see how I was growing in my craft. I was expanding my horizons. I was learning new things about the soap calculator and what it even was. How do I use this magical thing to create my own unique soaps? The longer I went on, the more the itch was growing to create a business, and I asked some experienced soap makers how they started their business. They picked my brain and quickly shot me down and said, "Girl, you need more experience." And they were right. They encouraged me not to even think about starting a business until I'd made at least 100 batches of soap. That's a lot of soap. Here I am learning how to use a stamp, and also about vanillin content, a soap maker's friend. On the right hand side, that bar turned almost black, but I didn't care because I was learning. Every single moment, every day felt brand new, and I felt a life enter my soul unlike I'd felt in a really long time. I was excited about new fragrances and new techniques and new designs and new makers. These are menthol crystals. This was a new experiment in 2021, and here is what I made with it. It smelled delightful. There's nothing quite like the smell of menthol. I learned all about soap frosting, which was rough. It's not as easy as it looks. This particular batch I formulated for a loved one who had advanced cancer. I was very specific about wanting it to be very gentle, not strongly scented, and it was such a meaningful batch for me. Every time I see these pictures, I can't help get teary-eyed. Through the spring and summer of 2021, I knew that I was getting closer to that 100 batch mark, and I knew I wanted to go ahead with starting a business, but I was afraid. I didn't know if I had what it took. I didn't know if I'd want to give up once I started. I didn't know how to get out of my comfort zone. I'd been there for so long. This was such a huge thing. But I didn't let any of those excuses stop me. And I came up with the name Blue Haven Soapery because I wanted it to truly be not just about selling stuff that I made, but about connecting with people. I wanted them to feel like they were entering a haven once they purchased something from me or once we talked. It didn't even need to entail buying something from me. I was so excited. Once the floodgates were open, and I had crossed that threshold of actually deciding to start a business, I don't know, something came alive in me once again. It took me 4 months to save for this soap cutter. Oftentimes we see pictures of things that people have made or things that they have done, and we don't realize what it took to get to that point. There were times where I just wanted to scream and charge ahead, but I had to hold myself back because I wasn't ready. This batch, case in point, it was lye heavy. You can see all of those little specks. That is burnage. It would have burned any skin that had touched. I had to handle this with gloves. I mismeasured grossly the lye amount. This is an example of why soap is not just artistic, it's also chemical. One of the biggest blessings of my business and starting it, in the first few months, I did a business conference. The conference was held by Christy Wright. She still has a lot of phenomenal materials out there, though she's no longer doing the conferences. If there's one piece of advice I would give to somebody starting off in business, is invest in yourself as a business owner. You will never regret it. Another big part of the road for me has been encouragement. And if you've watched the movie The Help, there's a point where she realizes that she can give courage to small children. Her little catchphrase was, "You is smart, you is kind, you is important." And I realized that I could encourage other people. I could be a decent human being and build other people up. There are so many toxic spaces in the internet world, and nobody needs that. It's so easy to be unkind. It's so easy to say words that you would never say to somebody in person. That's why I decided I wanted to do it differently. Another cool thing I did with my older kids was we prepared a lot of soaps to give to a local homeless shelter. Now that was one of the most special things I have ever done with my girls. That was just wonderful. And then every month, I have a new collection launch on the 15th of the month. Every collection launch also comes with a giveaway. Giving stuff away has been a huge part of my business. It's just something that I really and truly enjoy, and I knew I wanted to be a part of what I did. Next was live market time, and this was my first live market ever selling my soaps. I was elated. And because the market went really well and I'd been saving my money, I was able to purchase this new, larger soap cutter. There are seasons, there are ups, there are downs. It's never platonic. It's peaks, it's valleys, it's learning, it's falling on your face, it's ugly, it's glorious, it's radiant. It's hours of editing and weird faces and thinking your voice sounds like a Martian. It's self-discovery. It's learning how to deal with difficult people. It's learning to embrace your insecurities and grow past them. Take it from the man himself. Success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than the day before. It all adds up. And I like to encourage people who are looking to go into business with that as well. It takes an average of 3 years to establish yourself in the business world. And many simply don't make it that far. For one reason or another, it just does not work out. And there's no shame to that. I created a mission statement very early on, and this is part of it. Evoke calm, give courage, create beauty, and serve well. That has helped keep me going when I've wanted to give up. When you have a solid why to the what that you are doing, it helps get through those dark seasons because they will come. It's not a matter of if, they will come. Will you be ready for them? As a human being, as a business owner, I look at all the pictures specifically of myself, and it is just so exciting to see how that little girl came to life again. And sometimes we lose that little girl along the way because life gets heavy, life gets hard. But when you can go back and call her back and say, "You're coming with me. I left you in the dust, but you're coming back with me now. I'm going to dream again. I'm going to try again. I'm going to create again. I'm going to have courage again. And I'm not living in the darkness of this adult life that can drag us down so easily. I want to go back and call to the beauty and curiosity of the past." And to a greater extent, I feel like I have done that in creating my business. If all we accomplish is to make our younger self proud, to make our younger self feel safe in their own body, and to do something meaningful that touches the lives of others, that to me is success. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. I know it's different than my typical makers video, but I really wanted to go into detail and tell the story of how Blue Haven Soapery came to being. In honor of my 3rd anniversary, I'm having a 30% off sale right now. For the next 2 days, you can go on over to my shop, bluehavensoapery.etsy.com, and get anything you like for 30% off. Thank you so much for your support.